Hi,
Hello.
parents.
Hello.
This is the second grade team, and since we are not doing an in-the-building parent night this year, we have this online for you. So let's dive in and learn a little bit about the teachers first. My name is Allie Nevius. I was born and raised in Southern California. You can see I've got a picture of my brother and I at Disneyland the last time we went out there. I graduated from Purdue in 2016. In my free time, I like to travel. I enjoy riding bikes and going hiking. And then this year in November, I will have a last name change and I will become Mrs. Noble.
Hello, I am Miss Kathy Shook. I graduated from Purdue University in 2011 in social work, and I worked in social work for a few years, and then I went back and did a transfer to teaching program at Marian University and graduated in 2017. I'm originally from Indianapolis, Indiana, and I moved up to Lafayette last summer. I'm crazy about my dog Banner, who's in that picture with me. And there's a picture of my sister and my niece Katie at a Taylor Swift concert, and then that's the rest of my family at Thanksgiving. I actually come from a very big teacher family. My sister is a fourth grade teacher at Murdoch, and my mom was a teacher for almost 40 years.
I'm Shayla Colt. I graduated from Purdue in 2018. This is my third year teaching second grade. I'm a Lafayette native. I enjoy spending time with family and friends, and I will become a first-time mom this fall.
I am Jasmine Waters. I graduated from Purdue this past May. I grew up in Monticello, Indiana, so I'm very familiar with the area, and in my free time I really enjoy spending time with my family, friends, my German Shepherd Axel, who's in that middle picture with my husband and I love going to Disney. So, this year, what can your student look forward to learning this year? In reading, we're going to be working on transitioning from learning to read into reading to learn, understanding characters, close reading strategies, main ideas, and nonfiction text. In writing, we'll be working on friendly letters, narratives, informative, and opinion. And then in math, we'll be working on addition and subtraction with regrouping, basics of fractions, units of measurement, 2D and 3D shapes, problem-solving skills, and time tests for fact fluency. So some expectations and procedures for this school year. Our school day, the doors will open at 7:45 in the morning, and students can begin coming into the rooms at 8:10, but the tardy bell will be ringing at 8:25. Morning drop-off, if a student walks into the classroom after 8:25, they will eat breakfast in the cafeteria until 8:45. However, keep in mind this will cause your student to miss important class time if they are late, so please do your best to get them to school on time. Dismissal every day is at 2:45. If you're changing how your student goes home, please do so before 2 p.m. either by calling the office, sending an email, or writing a note. This year, because of COVID, masks will be required to be worn upon arrival and dismissal. We ask that you write your student's name on the inside of your mask. Because of COVID, there will only be 2 lunch choices this year. We are not allowing any birthday treats or visitors until notified by us. And then this year, we will be having lunch, art, and library in the classrooms.
All right, so the thing that really makes us in second grade a lot different from first grade is that we switch, which means that your student may have 2 different teachers. So at the beginning of the year, the students are going to take NWEA, and this will place them into a reading and math class based on their score. These groups are fluid, which means that at the end of every 9 weeks, we may move students around to some different teachers. We could, and we're going to do that to fit their needs. We do not tell students that they're going to be moving up or moving down. We simply tell them that they get to see a different teacher for a while who is so excited to have them. Again, this is always, we're moving them into groups that fit their needs the best. So if your child is moving, we will make sure that we let you know because you obviously want to know which teachers to be in contact with. So teachers will send you a note on the first day of the new classes telling you who the teacher is and their contact information. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, students will be in their reading class all day working on reading, grammar, and writing. Tuesdays and Thursdays, students will be in their math class all day working on math, STEM education, and social emotional learning. If your trying to figure out how many teachers your child could possibly have. They may be in the same reading and math teacher's class, so they could only have one teacher. They may also have two different teachers. They may have one teacher for reading and one teacher for math, but they will not have any more than two teachers at a given time. So some more expectations and procedures in the classrooms. Students are going to wear masks when moving around the classroom, but not when seated at their desks. So they will have some breaks from wearing those masks all day. We understand it is a big adjustment. We're right there with them. So individual materials, it's a lot different from the past. We typically would share a lot of materials, but this year the students are going to have their own individual items, and a lot of these materials are going to be kept in their pencil pouch in their binder. With that said, we really need those materials to remain in there and be brought back to school each day. Students will need to keep their headphones in their backpack to take to each class on alternating days. We don't want their headphones to stay inside of their classroom because they might be in a different teacher's room the next day for math. Chargers will also need to stay at home if you have a safe spot for it. Otherwise, those chargers can also be put in that same bag that's supplied for the students' headphones, and the chargers can remain inside their backpack there so that if they're switching back and forth between mom and dad's or grandma and grandpa's, they always have their charger. We will be taking 2 whole class restroom breaks in each class, but in case of emergency, students are welcome to wear a mask and go use an individual restroom break. Our last thing on here that we'd like to remind you of is that students will need coats daily when the weather starts cooling. Because so much of what we are doing this year is staying in our classroom, we want to make sure that they get the chance to go outside and play and run that energy off and just be able to socialize. But if it's too cold and they don't have a coat, we can't send them out, and that's going to make them really sad. We don't want that. So please make sure that as soon as the weather starts cooling, you are sending a coat every single day.
Okay, some more classroom procedures that we have is we will be sending home conduct sheets on Monday, and those will need to be signed on Monday nights to help us track behavior. In our classroom for behavior, we're also going to be using Class Dojo, and we have a new school metrics that we're going to use that's replacing the ABCs of sailing called HEART. And they will be earning and losing points in specials as well and in class. We have our own second grade classroom management system that we use, and we encourage the special teachers to use it also, but know that it may be different than what we are using. They do have AR and Dreambox goals like they did last year if you were at Glen Acres. Each 9 weeks, we are starting out with AR that they have 6 points that they need to earn, and they need to be getting 85% on those quizzes. In Dreambox, it'll be 50 lessons for the first 9 weeks. And just to keep a note at the very bottom, it's that both AR and Dreambox impact your students' reading and math grades. This is the new metrics I was talking about for HEART that's replacing the ABCs of sailing. And this is the second grade classroom management plan. So we will first be giving them a verbal warning, and we won't be taking any dojo points away. It'll be a 0. On our second warning, we will be having a conversation with them about their choices, and they will be losing a point. At the third warning, we will be sending home a think sheet for you to go over with them and sign, and they'll be losing 2 dojo points at that point. And then the fourth time that we have to ask them to change their behavior, it will be a write-up and phone call home. Note at the bottom that if they are disrupting our learning environment and causing other people to not learn, or they're causing physical harm to themselves or others, they will be escorted to the office immediately.
All right, on to homework. Buddy Reading Mondays, students complete and turn in by the next day, signed by an adult. Canvas homework, it will potentially be on there, so please notify us if internet is an issue. Math assignments are on Tuesdays, and students will complete it and turn it in by the next day signed, and this may vary depending on which teacher you have. Homework and classwork may be sent back with a please correct note, so correct mistakes and turn back in for extra points. Reading for 20 minutes every night. We cannot send home library books this year due to COVID, so students will have time to read and quiz in class, but reading at home, if available, is wonderful too. Students have Epic logins to allow access to more books at home. And then homework and binders. Binders are to be brought to school each day. Working on organization. Front is tonight's homework and back is completed work. It needs to be cleaned out daily at home. Students place papers in their binders and are responsible for removing papers from their binders to turn in. We do not do daily binder checks. Students may track books for AR quizzes on their reading logs in their binders. There are no ready-to-quiz slips. Dreambox thermometers are also in their binders and are updated weekly to let you see their progress towards their goals. AR can be checked on the iPad app.
On the iPads, you'll be getting an iPad contract for your student. Each student will be assigned an iPad that will be theirs for the school year. Your iPads are going home this year because of COVID, and this is to enhance your students' learning. With the iPads, it allows us to also practice 21st century skills. Students must make responsible decisions with these iPads and on the iPad, and work with while they're working with their iPads. And it is important to keep in mind that iPads are a privilege that can be lost. Students must hug their iPads in the hallway to avoid breaking, because there is a fee if the iPad is broken or if the screen gets cracked. This, by allowing your students to use iPads, it helps prepare them for iStep and iRead, which are on the iPads in the later years. And then we will also be using Canvas for e-learning on the iPads, so that's why they'll be going home. You will also be getting an insurance paper sent home in your student's binder. This insurance paper is optional. You are not required to sign up for it. Please, if you do choose to sign up for it, do not send the money to school. On the bottom of that form, there's a website and an address that you can send the money to purchase the insurance. Please make sure that your student's iPad is sent back to school every day and charged. If your student does not bring the iPad back to school, you will be getting a phone call to bring it back that day, as we use them frequently in the classroom for learning, and they're a necessary part of the school day. Students can lose JoJo points for not being prepared with their iPad.
Okay, now we move on to testing. So NWEA is the first thing we're going to talk about, and it's how we sort the kids into ability groups. Like Miss Nevius was saying, we do it first at the very beginning of the year in August, and then the middle of the year in December, and at the very end of the year to see how much they've grown in May. So it tracks your students' growth. It is not a pass or fail. It is not like state testing. It does not determine if they move on to third grade. So you don't need to worry about that. We just want to make sure that they are growing like they are supposed to. And that's very important to us. It is just a way for us to compare your student to where they are expected to be at each point in the year that we do it. There are incentives for meeting their goals at the middle of the year and at the end of the year. And we will go into more detail about their NWEA and state testing at conferences. We also in September do a dyslexia screener with all of the second grade students, and it does not diagnose if they are dyslexic or not. It's just to let us know if there are any red flags. On PE days, which are Tuesday, you need to make sure that your student has gym shoes on. They can also keep their gym shoes in their backpack, but just unfortunately not in the cubbies this year. Please make sure that the girls that you have on shorts or leggings under your dresses. And please dress comfortably, because we do plan, due to COVID this year, they will be doing PE out a lot outdoors instead of inside.
All right, on to field trips. This year, unfortunately, as of right now, we can't go on field trips due to COVID. We are going to try to provide digital field trips as we can, and as soon as field trips are allowed again, we will update you all and provide information. This kind of goes with volunteering, so we can't have volunteers in the school as of right now, but if later on we can, you can volunteer for $18 for 2 years and show proof of clearance, and then that's the website down there that you can go on. Whoops. Okay, Power School and classroom websites. Sorry for the mishap there with the screen. There is the website. It has lots of great information on it. And then We will use Canvas. It'll have newsletters and tons of information from each classroom teacher. And then Dojo will also be used to share information.
All right, and then if you've ever worked in a school, and maybe you haven't, you've just seen dismissal, but during the beginning of the year, the scariest time for a teacher is dismissal. Our biggest fear is losing your student. We want to make sure that they go home the right way. So please, 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 either send a note or call into school if you need to change how your student is leaving school that day. And I basically just restated that again in the next bold and underlined part, that please don't dojo us during the school day from like 8:10 to 2:30 to say if your student is changing, because we may not get a chance to read that message during the day. So really writing a note in their binder and sending that to us, messaging us earlier in the morning before 8:10, or calling the school at some point during the day, because the office can definitely call down to us and let us know for sure that your child is going home a different way. If you need to pick your student up early, we don't dismiss after 2 p.m., but if you're picking them up at, like, say, noon for a doctor's appointment, you can let us know, and we can get them packed up in the room, like, right before you're supposed to get there, so that once you're there, the office will call us to let us know, and we'll send your kid down right away, and it should not be a very long wait time for you. But we cannot have the kids waiting packed up in the office for you. All right. And then the fun part, what we need from you. So coming home in their binders on this first day of school is going to be a ton of information, and we're sorry, but we need some of it back. So one of the first pages that you'll find is an information page about your student. It's going to ask some things like address, phone numbers, etc. And if you could fill that out for us, we would really appreciate it. Number 2 that you're going to find is a success compact. It has a whole bunch of stuff on it saying that your child's going to try their best in school and follow the expectations. And then if you could sign that, your student signs it, and then you send that back. It's really important that we get these back. It's kind of a competition in the building, and the winning class gets some sort of a treat. It's usually Oreos, and so, we'd really like to all compete and win at that. And then number 3 is the iPad contract, as we had discussed earlier. So if you could get that filled out, signed, and sent back to us as soon as possible. And then really important, number 4, knowing how your student is going home from school the first day of school and then every day after that. So if you're picking them up as a car rider on day 1, or if they're walking for day 1, but then after that they should be a bus rider every day, we need to know those 2 pieces of information, please. You can feel free to either give us a call here at the school, send us an email, dojo us, or we will be calling you within the next few days to be finding out that information. Number 5 is signing up for dojo. That's really, really important. That way we can all stay in touch. And number 6, look for an email from us for Epic, and that was supposed to be Epic again, sorry, to set up Epic at home so that your student has access to read those books online. Please make sure with those first 3 forms that you are really checking the front and back and making sure that they are completely filled out, signed, and returned to us as soon as possible. Thank you so much. We're really excited to meet your kids, and we can't wait to get to know them.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.